What's up, guys? JG, Gar's Gang Adventures, and you know the drill. Welcome back to the channel. I wanted to do a quick follow-up video regarding our latest subwoofer install in this thing, just because we had a couple questions. We did do a quick review video, but we really didn't go over like what it really took to actually get it installed. So that's what I wanted to talk about today. So if you guys have been watching the channel, we've been slowly building out this little 2023 CanAm Maverick X3. It's super fun, super cool machine. And part of the things on our mod list was definitely a sound system. So we went with the Swamp Donkey sound system in this bad boy. 100% the reason we went with that is because of ease of install. And our other machine, a Honda Talon, I went completely custom. I designed it from the ground up. And it sounds great, it's super cool, but let's be honest, it took a lot of time. So with this, I went with the Swamp Donkey. That's just your overhead radio setup. Super nice, super easy to install. Let's see if I can pan up there and show you guys. There we go. That's all Swamp Donkey right there. It is what it is. It kind of rocks. It sounds pretty good. I'm happy with it. So anyway, back to the subwoofer install. When we mounted, let's see if I can get you a view of that. So we mounted this little Memphis 10-inch marine grade subwoofer underneath the driver's seat right there. And once we had that going, and we did that basically because the Swamp Donkey lacks a little bass. It sounds pretty good, but you definitely need a sub just to fill everything out. So once we went to go mount the sub, we needed a way to power it, which meant where are we gonna put our amp? So before I get into where we put it and why we put it there, I'm just gonna talk about the wiring. We ended up going with the SKAR Audio marine grade amp. I went ahead and mounted that directly behind the passenger seat. So you can see it right there. Still allows the passenger seat to go all the way back. There it is. Everything's marine grade, it's waterproof, it should be fine. So that's where we decided to mount it. Now, as far as wiring, you're gonna have your power wire coming off of that, which is your positive on your DC side. You're gonna have your negative, which is your ground wire. And then you're gonna have your remote signal wire to turn the amp on. So the remote signal wire comes from the radio. The other thing that comes from the radio, or the other two things that I left out of the equation, is your RCA audio cables and also your speaker wire. So what I had to do was be able to get my signal, my remote turn on wire, and my speaker wire. I had to get the speaker wire going to the sub, because that's what it's powering, right? I had to get the audio signal, which is your RCA cables and your remote turn on. I had to get that from the Swamp Donkey. So in order to do that, let me see if I can show you. You see speaker wire right there on your bottom side. RCAs are on the other side, and same thing with the remote. So what I did when I mounted it there was basically routed my wires this way, followed the roll cage, and I came up on this side. Once I came up on this side, I'm hoping I'm gonna be able to get this camera to actually show you. But basically, right here. So there's a little rubber grommet in this Swamp Donkey for the power wire. So I hijacked that rubber grommet and I was able to fit all my cables through there, routed it up through that Swamp Donkey box up to the Swamp Donkey radio. So you basically had to pull that marine grade cover off and then unscrew the head unit, and then you had access to the back of that head unit, and that's where I made all my connections. That's where your remote wire is going to hook up to. That's your 12-volt signal to actually power on the amp, because you got to remember the amp is always connected to the battery. So it's getting that 12-volt signal. It's saying, hey, the radio's on, time to turn the amp on, which the only time the radio should be on is when the machine's on, so that's kind of your safeguard there. Your RCA cables are carrying your audio signal, and that's what's feeding the amp, which is going to tell the subwoofer how to play. So not too bad. I basically had to take the roof off, route those cables through. I did have to take off that both of those kicker 6.5s on that side just to be able to help feed my cable, but honestly it wasn't bad at all. So that's it. There's my wiring coming off the radio back down to the amp. Now let's talk about the power wiring, which is also why I selected this location, which we'll get into in a minute. So the power wiring, that didn't work. Looks like that popped off because when I got this door opener kit from Kimimoto, they did not ship me the retaining clip, so I'm still waiting on that. But anyway, so the power wires, scoot that seat up a little bit. So this is ultimately why I chose this location. The power wires are super easy on this. I literally just took positive, negative, went straight to the battery, which is down there. I'll be honest with you guys, the reason I chose this location was out of 100% laziness. I actually did buy the UTV stereo. It's basically this HDPE amp mount that is designed to go up under the dash on that side. I do firmly believe that that's the best spot for the amp. I started doing some reading, and I guess that when you put stuff up there, it does cause some interference with, if you have the DPS, or the EPS, I should say, the electronic power steering. It'll cause some issues with that. So that isn't the reason that I didn't put it there. To be 100% honest with you, the reason I didn't put it there is out of laziness, because in order to get there, I would have had to disassemble that whole dash, and I just wasn't trying to devote the amount of time to that to get that done. I figured, hey, everything's marine grade, who cares? Let's put it behind the seat. It's easier, it's quicker. I'm not super happy with that decision, because where it is, you could see it, it's in the cab, that's fine, but if you look at this rear roof cutoff line, that is exactly where the water dumps. So when it rains, when it gets wet and nasty, all the water comes right here and it just goes straight into the amp. Less than ideal. Again, everything is marine grade, so you're not going to have to worry about the actual component itself, but what you are going to have to worry about is your connections. So if you see on this side right here, I've got the RCA connections. That's also a little plug-in for my bass knob that's up under the dash. I didn't talk about that, but that was something I added. I didn't talk about it because I fully expected to fail within 12 months. When it does, I'll just take it out of the equation, but since it was included, I wired it up. But like I was saying, you're going to have all that water dumping down here. On your power, on your speaker wire, on everything. It works, and it was a cheap amp, so I'm not too concerned about it. But in hindsight, especially considering I did get that UTV stereo amp mount, I should have just taken the time and put it up there. But if I would have done that, just so you guys know, if you're going back and forth on where you want to mount it, what that's going to take is disassembling your entire driver's side as far as all your plastics. You're going to have to take apart your dash. In my case, I have a windshield on. I'm going to have to take that off. I'm going to have to take out the passenger seat. I'm going to take out that center console. I'm going to have to put the wiring from the battery all the way back up here, all that back and forth. With mounting it right here, like I said, it was super easy. Easy's not always best, so I caution you if you want to just get lazy like me, because I fully expect this to fail within a couple months, or at least get some really corroded connections. I will say I'll keep you guys posted on that. If it holds up fine and it works, then yeah, why not just do that? Because it does work. For what it is, I'm super happy with it. It's just one little 10-inch marine grade subwoofer. It is what it is. I like it. So that's it. I really just wanted to touch on the wiring, because I know some of you guys might get confused with the wiring. It's not hard. It really isn't. You have your 12-volt power, which is going to go directly to your battery. You're going to have your ground, which you can ground anywhere on the frame, or you could just bring it back to the negative side of the battery if you're being lazy. You're going to have your 12-volt remote turn-on wire, which is your signal from your radio to tell the amp to turn on, because again, that amp is constantly connected to battery power. Outside of that, you're going to have your speaker wire that feeds your subwoofer, which in my case is that little Memphis 10 sitting under the seat. And you're going to have the RCA cables, which is your actual audio signals coming from that radio up there. That's it. Any questions, guys? Feel free to drop it down in the comments below. Honestly, it works. It is what it is. If you guys are looking for my honest advice, don't be lazy like me. Take the time, put it up underneath the dash. Once you do that, every time you pressure wash it, you're blasting through mud holes. Don't get me wrong, it's still going to get a little wet, but it's not nearly going to be exposed to the elements as much as it is behind the passenger seat like that. So I definitely kind of regret not just taking the time and doing it right, but it is what it is. No big deal. It's a cool little machine. Definitely having fun with it. I think I'll probably end up adding that Memphis, the other 10 up underneath the seat, just because it'll really make it bang. But for what it is, it works pretty well. So that's it. That's all the wiring. Like I said, if you guys have any questions, drop them down in the comments. I think we're pretty much wrapping it up. So what we're going to do now, I'm going to get the tablet out of the bus. We've got a lot going on around here. We got the solar panels hooked up, charging up the bus. Free power, can't beat it. I got the tablet charging because it was dead. So I'm going to get the tablet out of the bus. We're going to put it back into this CanAm, and we'll fire it up. We'll see what she sounds like. So let's do that. All right, I was able to dig the tablet out of the bus, and hopefully I got enough charge to at least give you guys a quick demo. It's a little dirty, but that's okay. Let's pop open this door. New door opener kit. Let's fire this bad boy up. So let's see, we're gonna open up our tablet. Talon, it's okay. Let's see. Now we're good. Hopefully that shows up in the mic, but that sounds pretty good. Don't judge the music, it's my son's. No, I'm lying, it's mine. It sounds pretty good. I'm happy with it. Let's turn it off before YouTube flags me for royalty music. All right, so that's it. There's your full wiring on our amplifier install for our subwoofer install for our 2023 CanAm Maverick X3 DS Turbo. Man, it's a pretty little machine. I don't know if the entirety of that little example is actually going to show up because I don't necessarily know that was YouTube friendly, but we'll see how it plays out. If you guys got any questions, like I said, please feel free to drop them down in the comments. I'll be happy to answer them. There's not much to it. My biggest advice and my biggest piece of advice that I can offer you is don't be lazy. Don't be lazy like me. Take the time, put it under the dash. In the end, you'll be happy you did. So that's it. Thanks for watching, guys. Definitely appreciate the support. Stay tuned. Don't forget to hit that like button and the subscribe because you know we're going to be doing more stuff to this. And if you don't want to miss it, that's the only way. It doesn't cost you nothing. It's the best thing to do. Helps us, and we definitely appreciate it. So like I said, that's it. Until next time. Thanks, guys.